Justice delayed is justice denied, so the legal maxim says. Gaspari Byaruhanga believes in the law. He is also a patient man. He spent 20 years trying to prove that he never committed a double murder he was accused of. Then, finally, in 2019, the Court of Appeal in Fort Portal City set him free. And he returned to nothing. Now aged 54, Byaruhanga, who once owned acres of land, leads a lonely existence in this mud and water house, which he rents at 20,000 shillings per month. He also rents a piece of land where he plants cassava to feed himself. 22 years ago, in Chakaja village, Kanyogoga parish in Mubende district, Byaruhanga was a farmer and a trader. At 32, he and his 27-year-old wife had 8 children. His entire extended family lived on 22 acres of land. Then, in September 2000, their neighbor Abdul Mbarakucheye and his wife Mariam went missing. Willie Katalewa was the LC1 chairman at the time. NTV found him in Chifumbira village. He says Byaruhanga's stepmother, Alizabera Nyirachirie, told the villagers that her stepsons had murdered the couple and buried them in their father's garden.
She showed us where they had been buried. They had planted beans on the grave to conceal it.
Police arrested Byaruhanga and his brother, Everest Seguya, who was 17 at the time. The two were charged with murder at Mubende High Court and remanded to Mubende Prison for 365 days.
The villagers looted my cows and confiscated our 20 acres of land.
Surprisingly, their stepmother, on whose testimony the prosecution rested its case, was never brought into the dock to testify. According to court records, they were tried on the basis of hearsay and rumors. On April 31st, 2004, Lady Justice Catherine Okello found them guilty and condemned them to death. The brothers were transferred to the condemned section of Luzira Upper Prison. They found 415 prisoners in the condemned section, but by their 10th year of imprisonment, this number had swelled to 800. They say that the psychological torment of being on death row was sometimes too hard to bear.
Some people have gonorrhea or syphilis. When we shared the bucket, we contracted these diseases.
The hangman would work on the noose at night and everyone would get a stomach upset because of the trauma and fear.
To remain sane, Byaruhanga read his Bible, spread the gospel, and counseled newcomers in the condemned section. On the other hand, Seguya taught himself how to play the guitar. On November 22nd, 2013, following Constitutional Appeal Number 3 of 2006, Byaruhanga and Seguya were removed from death row and each sentenced to 50 years in prison. However, they had already been in detention for 13 years, so the sentence was reduced to 37 years. On 30th July 2019, the Court of Appeal at Fort Portal set them free, saying their conviction had been founded on inadmissible hearsay evidence. Byaruhanga says after Uganda prisons hosting them for 20 years, they were let out without a cent to facilitate their transport back home. They relied on a well-wisher.
They said we had been on remand for 20 years, so they shouldn't give us our money. We slept on Mubende Highway, and in the morning our brother from Chibale picked us up.
They now live in Chiboga district since the villagers in Chakaja appropriated their land.
The chairman asked the villagers to return our property, but they said if we go back, they will harm us.
Chakaja village, just like all the others in Kanyogoga parish, does not have a police post. Anyone can take the law into their hands. Katalewa says it is dangerous for the brothers to return and claim their property.
He can only go there with military protection. The village is dangerous. It gives us sleepless nights.
In the first case of its kind, the brothers have sued the Attorney General seeking compensation.
If I get help from government, my life will be normal again.
I have grown in vain. People look down on me. Whenever I dwell on these things, I get so depressed.
Their lawyer, Lynette Nachibuka, says suing the government is the best option for the duo.
The USA and the UK, they actually have statutes where they say that if this person has taken this long in prison, they'll get a certain amount of money. So we need to adopt like such measures here in Uganda.
The trauma of prison does not go away. Even in their new home, the brothers do not have friends and are subjected to ridicule. They also claim, sadly, to suffer sexual dysfunction.
Due to the years in jail, I do not have feelings.
I was imprisoned at a young age. Now, I cannot be with a woman. I just look at them.
Byaruhanga's consolation comes from his faith and his 7 children. But for Seguya, the options are few. After digging on his rented land, he takes to his guitar to sing the blues away. Gillian Nantume, NTV Tonight.